Good evening. Thank you all for joining us this evening, Monday, October 24th, 2022, for a virtual candidate forum for the Del Mar Union School Board. We want to extend a special thank you to the North Coast Council Parent Teacher Association for hosting this forum, and to you, Del Mar residents who care about the future of your community. I am Chris Harris, a member of the League of Women Voters. The League was founded in 1920, 102 years ago, when women in the United States first gained the right to vote. We cherish our historical name, but don't let it fool you. We welcome everyone and would love to have you join us in our mission to promote active, informed citizen participation at all levels of government through education and advocacy. Tonight, we will have a chance to learn about the candidates. Your ballots will also include measures or propositions you will be asked to vote on. The League had a virtual program on October 15th, where the pros and cons on each ballot were presented in a non-biased format so that you can make an educated decision. Information on that is on that topic at lwvncsd.org. I must emphasize that the League of Women Voters never endorses or opposes any political party or candidate for public office. In order to avoid any appearance of conflict of interest, neither the League question sorters, the timer, nor I live or vote in Del Mar. Tonight, you will be able to listen to 7 candidates, 3 of whom will be elected to a 4-year term on the Del Mar Union School Board. Now, a few words about the format. We will start with a 2-minute opening statement from each candidate. After those comments, we will begin the questions. Prior to this evening, the questions were solicited on the League of Women Voters website. The questions have been sorted by trained League members to eliminate duplicates and those not relevant to the office being sought tonight. Generally, candidates may have up to 1 minute to respond to each question they are asked. I reserve the right to allow more time for complex questions or even insert a speed round. I'll let you know up front if that is my intention. The order in which the candidates make their opening and closing statements has been determined by lot. Our timer will give the candidates a 30-second warning with a yellow sign. Timer. And then we'll hold up a red sign when the candidate's time is up. Timer, can you demonstrate the signs? There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Recordings of this forum are the property of the League. Written permission is required to replay it. If you have permission, the video must be played in its entirety only and not edited in any manner. The candidates have also agreed to a forum format. Specifically, this is not a debate, but an opportunity for candidates to respond to questions from the community and for the public to hear how they would address the issues. As such, candidates agreed to conduct themselves in a civil manner, including refraining from making negative references to other candidates or their personal qualifications, character, or activities. The League is recording this forum and will post it within 24 hours at LWVNCSD YouTube channel. And now let's have the opening statements. We begin tonight with candidate Rafner.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for organizing this forum and those in the community for taking the time to spend with us this evening. I'm Doug Rafner and I'm running for re-election to the Del Mar Union School Board. At the time I first ran for office, the district was in complete disarray. 2 superintendents had left or been terminated. There was a threat that 2 schools were going to be closed and teachers and principals were leaving the district to go somewhere else. At that time, I had no thoughts of running for office, but understood that I needed to be a good role model for my kids. That if you want to make change in this world, you need to step up yourself. And I did that 12 years ago. And we were able to right the ship. We had a seasoned superintendent leading us, and we were successful in bringing the issues that had faced the district under control. Since that time, our district has been recognized as one of the strongest and best districts in the state. Our board has strived to work in an open and collaborative way, treating other board members, the administration, and the community with respect. Since joining the board, the district has operated in a fiscal responsible manner. The budget has consistently been balanced. The district maintains a healthy reserve, which served us well during the Great Recession, without substantial cuts to the general fund or allowing our vision of maintaining small classroom sizes and keeping STEM classes intact. The district was again challenged with COVID. However, it was our district that led the way by being the only school district to remain open with in-person classes in addition to providing other choices for parents during that difficult period. We are now watching our Proposition MM bond money being used to build, renew, and redesign our schools to keep pace with new and best educational practices. For those that haven't seen it, can I finish the sentence? Pacific Sky School, our night school, is absolutely state-of-the-art and beautiful.
Thank you. Candidate Wooden.
Well, let me start by thanking the organizers for hosting this forum. My name is Scott Wooden, and I'm a current member of the Del Mar Union School Board. My goals when I was first elected were to bring stability to the district at a time of turmoil, providing mutual respect, trust, and leadership principles that focus on what is best for children. I commit to that again today. My decisions have and will always put all children first. Del Mar is one of the finest elementary school districts in the state due to a functional board. We are grounded in a high-quality education. Parents move into our district for this educational excellence and the depth of our special education programs. Del Mar schools stayed open during the pandemic, offering options to parents, launch or in person, which was unique in the state. It worked. This ensured that no student would be left behind on a less than optimal program, and our academics did not slip as they have elsewhere in the state. I have prioritized small class sizes in STEAM Plus programs. In fact, our class sizes are smaller today than they were before the COVID hit. Our budget is balanced. Our reserve is healthy. We have the highest Moody's credit rating for our Prop MM bonds, one of only 8 school districts in the state with a AAA rating. That saves us money. Those Prop MM projects are moving forward. The Pacific Sky School is complete. Our district kitchen is in the final stages, and the Heights and Hills projects are continuing. We are currently updating our strategic vision, identifying areas of focus to improve. Again, this board works, and it has since I joined it. Let's keep it moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Peck.
Hello, I'm Cinda Peck, and I also want to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum so everyone can learn more about us. As a new member that could possibly join the board, I want to go back a little further and say that I have been living in Carmel Valley since 1983. I have been a 5th grade teacher and a music teacher in the district for 25 years. So I've had some classroom experience as well as some specialist experience. And I think I have kind of a unique position of experience to bring to the board. I did a couple of years at Ashley Falls as well as Carmel Del Mar. So I have been in more than one school in Del Mar. And I know that years ago when we had, before COVID and before a lot of the budget cuts that happened, we had a very rich extended studies curriculum. And I really want to bring back that rich curriculum because it really supports all students. Every student, whether they're high or low, or whether they're left brain or right brain, or challenged in any way, it's all inclusive. We can reach all of our students if we have an extended studies curriculum that coincides with the classroom curriculum. And I think that's a good place to put some of our money. I also want to talk about fiscal responsibility. We need to spend our money on students and programs, plus give them the right equipment to support those. We need to include our teachers in all those ground level decisions, not just when the decisions have been made, because our teachers are an incredible resource with their expertise and their experience. I'd like to see counselors in our schools to help handle some of our social issues and social pressures. And the money spent on the staff should go directly to the students and the families and the teachers. We need a board that listens, and that's what I intend to do if I'm elected. Thanks.
Thank you. Candidate Sheikhani.
Hello everyone online. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Maniza Sheikhani, and I am a current parent of 2 children here at DMUSD. One is currently in the special education program and the other in general education. I make this distinction because these 2 programs are not treated alike. I'm running for the Board of Trustees position because I have to. I know too much. I've gone through the school budget, attended every board meeting this year and most of last year, and have come to the conclusion that this school district needs new direction and needs valuable parent input. This district punishes anyone who speaks up. And is that what we want as a community? We shouldn't be silenced to maintain status quo. We need to strive for more unity in our community and listen to the valuable input of our students, parents, teachers, and other community members. We need collaboration. On the board currently, we have teacher representation, attorneys, and members who have been on the board for 12 years. We don't have parent representation. It's time for change. And it's time for us parents to have a voice in our curriculum and help our students achieve their best, whether they're struggling academically or excelling, and to be champions of their own voice. Right now, if your child has average performance, they're doing just fine. But the minute they struggle or become too advanced for the material, there is little that can be done for them. On my time on the board, I hope to create a robust academic program for kids to grow into, programs to give children a chance to catch up to their peers with extra learning opportunities, create a special education program that's truly inclusive with third-party oversight, and ensuring money is allocated to the underfunded program, provide actual transparency for where our donation money goes, and create town hall-like opportunities for the community to communicate with the board and give actual input. 5 years ago, our family moved from Chicago here to Del Mar Union School District because of its great reputation. I hope to not only honor this, but to help elevate this district to where we as parents have a seat at the decision table. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Fitzpatrick.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Katherine Fitzpatrick, and I'm running for re-election for the Del Mar Union School District. I also want to thank the League of Women Voters this evening, and also the North Coastal PTA Consortium for hosting us tonight. I am running for re-election because I love my community. I love the students of this area, and I'm a proud native of Del Mar, and I just have a passion for education. I've been in education for 20 years. I've worked as a teacher at all levels, elementary, middle school, and high school. I'm a current school counselor at a local high school, and I also have 3 children, 2 of whom attend Del Mar Hills Academy, and a 3.5-year-old who will attend there soon. So I'm coming at this from the parent side and from the education side, as well as a community member who just has a deep concern and love for what we're providing here in Del Mar. I've really enjoyed my last 4 years on the board and learned a lot. I've been It's been a privilege to work with all my fellow trustees, and I would like to see our school district make some progressions that I think we are still lagging behind with many school districts, the majority of school districts in the state, and offer more early education opportunities like transitional kindergarten. We're one of only a handful, less than a dozen of school districts that do not offer that program. I also really do hear the concerns about special education students, and I want to collaborate with special education parents and make sure that we are doing everything we can to support students and families with special needs. I am really excited about some propositions that are a proposition that could fund the arts and music and free up some funds for our district potentially. So I am very aware of our budget and how much we have to spend. And I want to make sure, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't look at the time, that we are maintaining a balanced budget, and I will stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Porter.
If my sound gets wonky, let me know. Good evening. My name is Bill Porter. I'm very happy to be with you all tonight. I want to thank the North County League of Women Voters, as well as the North Coastal PTA Association, for their sponsorship and organization of tonight's Del Mar Union School District Board Candidate Forum. For those of you who don't know me, I've been an educator for over 32 years in both the private and public sectors. In 1997, I began my career in public education in Del Mar at Carmel Del Mar Elementary School, where I taught special education 2nd, 4th, and 5th grade. In the summer of 2013, I took a position as an elementary school principal in the Vista Unified School District. I am currently employed in Vista as a 2nd grade teacher at an international baccalaureate primary school after 8 years as a proud principal. I am retiring this June 2023. Prior to becoming a public school teacher, I worked for the United States government as a preschool and childcare provider on the Miramar Naval Air Base. I then entered the United States Navy as a hospital corpsman. Then, before beginning my tenure in Del Mar, my wife and I have lived in Carmel Valley since 1985, and we've raised 3 sons, all who attended Del Mar schools, kindergarten through 6th grade. I look forward to this evening, and thank you again for attending this important event as a citizen of our democratic process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you. Okay, let's see what the community wants to ask you.
Oh, I haven't participated yet. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to be 7 and you were supposed to be 6.
Oh, we can't hear you, Chris.
Chris, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted, Chris.
You didn't hear my humble apology then. Candidate Roybal, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. My name's Danielle Roybal. I've lived in Carmel Valley area for about 10 years. I opened up the Chase and Pacific Highlands Ranch in 2019. I have a 10-year-old that attends the district. And in 2018, 2019, my son went missing. And he went missing more than once. And as this happened, I reached out to the principal at the time, and I asked for an aid to keep him safe. I was told by the then principal that there was no money in the budget to keep him safe. There was no money for an aid. So with someone that has a background in finance is told that there's no money, we're going to find it. And sure enough, I did. And so one of the reasons why I'm running is I believe that this information should be public. It should be on the website for the board to share with everyone how much is spent and where it's spent. We are a community funded district. That means that our property taxes pay for the schools. So because it wasn't listed, we did a public records request. In that public records request, I was able to obtain the budget, and I found out that we started the year with almost $18 million in the general fund. That represents a 23.8% reserve, 23.48% reserve. And what that means is that we are very, very healthy when it comes to the budget. So healthy, in fact, that we can permanently budget STEAM Plus teachers. We can permanently pay for TK, and we can take care of all of the needs that the special needs kids require, which by the way, is protected federally for their services that are being denied. Now, I'm concerned about safety, transparency, fiscal responsibility. Over 1 million was used on lawyers to sue parents from April 2021 to April 2022, according to the Coast News. Yet DMS EF efforts brought in 1.3 million. Well, it doesn't take someone with the background in finance to know that we're not doing the right thing. I'm concerned about the budget. I want STEAM Plus teachers permanently budgeted. They should not fear for their jobs. And I also want TK in our schools. Thank you so much.
Once again, I apologize, candidate Roybal. Let's do questions from the community. Question number 1. What is your approach to handling differing points of view and reaching decisions on controversial issues where there are strong opinions on multiple sides? And we are starting that with candidate Fitzpatrick.
Thank you for that question. So I think it's important that we first and foremost gather input from everyone who would like to share it, and that we're giving people an opportunity to express their concerns, their opinions, and we're doing it in a safe way. So that could be through a variety of ways. It could be in person, it could be anonymously through surveys. And then it's important for people to be given the opportunity to present that information to the board, and also in a more collaborative way to be able to come up with solutions and ideas like we're having soon with our strategic plan meetings, so that we're not just gathering input and then not able to talk and collaborate with all the stakeholders. And then there's compromise. There'll
Thank you.
always have to be compromise on controversial issues.
Thank you. Candidate Peck.
I agree so much with Katherine, because she's saying all the right things about collaboration and compromise. But I think sometimes it takes more conversation than there might be at a board meeting. And if you're going to bring the two sides together, the best thing to do is listen, and try and synthesize what's going on and see how you can come to a compromise. Because everybody gets to win sometime, but you don't get to win all the time. So we need to figure out a way that can make everyone happy, everyone can live with it, but yet I believe that's a matter of time. I think you cannot rush things through at board meetings. It takes extra meetings and extra time so that people feel heard.
Thank you. Candidate Porter.
I too agree with what Cinda and Katherine have spoken to, and I see these issues same as when you're bargaining with the teachers using collective, what's called interest-based bargaining. So interest-based collaboration, where you get and gather the input of all stakeholders. You make your list of your wants and needs, and you narrow that list down, and you prioritize, you rank them, and then come to a collective agreement. And like Cinda had said, not everyone is going to be happy, but as long as we can come to a mutually agreed upon decision for the topic at hand. The biggest thing about controversial issues is this thing called fear, the false expectations about the risk you take, FEAR. And I think the more we learn about controversial issues, the better we would be as a board and as a community to move forward in making those wise and sound decisions. Thank you.
There we go. Question number 2. What experience do you have that you believe makes you a good candidate for this position? What skills do you believe you bring to the board? And we are starting with candidate Roybal.
A combination of skills. My strong financial background allow me to look at the budget and be able to ensure that funds are allocated in the right spots. I've also spent a lot of time, because I've had to submit complaints to the California Department of Education, studying the California Department of Education. And for example, I found out that other boards that are on an attendance-based model, which we are not, however, we're similar in certain ways, cannot go over, per new requirements per the CDE, cannot go over 10% in their budget. Whereas we have a 23.48%, as I mentioned. So besides the budget, though, I'm also an award-winning manager. I know how to balance various voices, natural born mediator, where I can help and make sure that we come to a consensus. That's what had allowed me to have very high-performing teams and be an award-winning manager.
Thank you. Candidate Sheikhani.
Yes, thank you for that question. I have a background as a realtor, a certified negotiations expert. And as such, I have to bring in two parties that necessarily don't agree and try to come up with a solution for some really high stakes issues. So I work on listening to, to what the issues are and try to come up with a solution to complex issues. Also, I've also been studying special education law as a result of, having a special education student. And as such, I have become knowledgeable about how education works and how our school board works. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Wooden.
So I've been on the board for several years now, and I've learned through that time what it takes to be a board member. I've completed a master's in governance program, which I understand now a lot more about the board than what I didn't know back then. I've also got a science background, which enables me to analyze the data and look at it. I've had kids through the district, so I've seen what's worked and what hasn't worked. I've had high achieving, and I've had kids with an IEP. I've seen the whole gamut of the district. So I've got a breadth of experience that helps me do this job. Now, the one thing is brought up about we have a healthy reserve. Yes, we do have a healthy reserve, but we can't spend that reserve on recurring costs. It's one-time funds for one-time expenses. That is, if we have a disaster from the budget, from the state perspective, and I can't see the time. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I can't see the timer there. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. Question number 3.
Wait. Am I going to get any questions?
You answered question number 1. You did not?
No.
Oh. Okay. I'll give you your choice.
Okay.
You want to answer question number 1?
I'll make it a hybrid.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I apologize again.
No, and I appreciate the opportunity. I bring to the board collaboration, negotiation as a professional mediator. I'm an attorney. I'm on the court's mediation panel. And in terms of having disagreements, I don't know anybody that from a personal standpoint have more polar viewpoints than Mr. Wooden and myself, for example, but the two of us collaborate, discuss, and actually work to compromise for the benefit of our students, and have done so for the past 12 years. I personally also have had 3 kids in the district. I've had 2 of those have IEPs, and I am intimately familiar with the special needs programs in our district. I agree with Scott that a healthy reserve is important, not only because we've gone through it with the recession, where we've seen that we needed to have a healthy reserve in order to keep our general fund balanced, as well as to maintain the classroom sizes and the STEAM program that we're able to offer. Thank you.
Once again, pretty soon, I'll have apologized to everyone. Question number 3. The Del Mar Union School District is experiencing declining enrollment. How should this be taken into account in future resource planning? And we are starting this round with Ms. Candidate Porter, please.
Sorry about knocked my computer over. Great question. Yes, the Del Mar Union School District is experiencing declining enrollment, and I think to be fiscally responsible as a board member, we're going to have to look at various programs and maybe have each school identify their own identity or personality, and then allow them certain funds for their school's character and culture. We did that in Vista a lot, where, for example, my school, Mission Meadows, became a Leader in Me school. Another school became a STEM school. The school I'm currently teaching at is an IB school. And that attracts different families for different reasons, which would then increase student enrollment at various schools. And so I again would look at the identity of each school and what does that school's community look to in terms of creating a school culture and identity for that particular school, and then shift the funds in that manner.
Thank you. Candidate Rafner.
I think declining enrollment is a problem that permeates beyond our district. It's a problem that needs to be addressed, I think, I want to say nationally, let alone within the county. But as a board member for the last 12 years, I've seen the ebbs and flows of student enrollment going up and down to the point that we've had to add classrooms only to find that within 2 or 3 years, those classrooms were left barren because enrollment went down. But it always comes back up again. I think what's going on now is there's a trust issue among districts, not just ours, but all of the districts. And I think that we need to show the community that public schools, public education, for my money, is the best education that can be had. I'm a product of public education. My kids all went to our district. All my kids have gone to colleges and are doing extremely fine. In fact, and I'll say this to Ms. Peck, they all had her as a teacher and are doing well. And so, oh, I got to stop.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate Sheikhani, please.
All right, thank you. In terms of resource planning, we really need to take a look at the internal budget. Like it was mentioned previously, we have a lot of money in our budget currently, and allocating those resources adequately to actually fund programs that are helping the children, I think that is one thing that we can do to ensure future success. Another thing is fix the issues that we're facing right now. Like I mentioned before, a lot of families leave, and this is not talked about at any board meetings I've been to, but we talk a lot about families leaving because of real estate related issues, or they just don't move. And then, you know, their families grow, but we don't look at the fact that families are leaving because they're unhappy with the curriculum. They're unhappy with the special education. I mean, I've not gone door knocking. I've listened to a lot of families and concerned community members that are just not happy with public education. We need to bring the confidence back into our public education. I'm also a product of public education myself, and I am a huge proponent in making our school system as strong as it can be. And that's my time.
Thank you. Question number 4. How does the school board balance the need to provide high quality education with the need to respond to local taxpayer burden? And we're going to start with candidate Wooden.
Well, you know, let me make sure I have the time there. We do have to balance things out between making sure that our programs are funded, versus what we're getting in income coming in from our property taxes. We don't get money from the state, a lot of money from the state. In fact, our fair share costs, we had to give back a lot of money from our categoricals, and that's put a crimp in some of the programs that we've had to do for the over the years. But our parents pay high property taxes here in this district, and they expect a good quality program. We spend over $17,000 per student in this district. We spend 3.8 million in STEAM Plus programs. We spend another 1.3 million in facility maintenance. It's important for us to make sure that we're good stewards of the money that our parents are providing us through their property taxes, and make sure that we're giving a quality education in top-notch facilities so that every student has an equal opportunity to succeed in this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Fitzpatrick.
Okay, thank you so much. So yes, just to make a distinction. So Del Mar is what's considered a community funded or basic aid district, which means that we're not like Vista or other surrounding districts that are given state dollars based on average daily attendance. We actually get so much more in property taxes that our students receive more than most of the surrounding ADA districts. So we are a very wealthy district. We need to look at how those $17,000 per student are being spent with a fine-tooth comb. I think that that is key. And I think that it's really important that we ask our community how they want those funds to be distributed and allocated. We do have a very healthy reserves, and we maybe can find ways to fund other things that aren't being funded right now, like I mentioned before, transitional kindergarten. And I think that that's something that we need to ask the community if they're a proponent of. And I'm not looking at the time either. Yes,
That is time. That is time. Thank you. And Candidate Peck.
Could you please repeat the question for me?
Absolutely. How does the school board balance the need to provide high quality education with the need to respond to local taxpayer burden?
Okay, I'm glad I asked again, because we are that basic aid district getting our money from property tax, but yet we do ask our parents to donate to a foundation for our kids to get special programs. And they are getting Mello-Roos taxes that seem to increase in some districts. And so I think it's very important that we look at our fiscal responsibility to our people, to our students, and make sure that all the dollars that we spend directly go to the students or the families or our community. But as far as physical plant and some of the things that we do spend a lot of money on, I think we need to really take a look at that. And with declining student enrollment, we need to take a look at that as well to see if we need all the facilities that we have.
Thank you. Okay, I did that round. Okay. On to the next one. This is question number, no, I'm not answering. Question number 6. Do you currently have a child in the district? Yes or no? If you don't, why are you interested in being on the school board? And we start this one with Candidate Sheikhani, please.
Well, I do have 2 children at the school district, like I mentioned. I have a child in the special education program and another child in a general education program. And really the district says that every child is a general education student, but I can tell you that hasn't been the case. And the reason why I'm running is because I feel like I know too much. I've listened to a lot of families with a heavy heart telling me that they have to leave because they don't really have an option with the school. That this district is combative with families, and they want to kick them out when they disagree, try to silence them. And yeah, and so my motivation is to not retreat. My motivation is to come and help every student and create an equal opportunity that they're by law allowed to have.
Thank you.
So I am a parent, yes.
Candidate Wooden, please.
So I currently do not have a kid in the district. I do have a student that is in San Diego in the high school district, and I have a daughter that's in college. But I think that gives me a nice perspective because I don't have a horse in the game. I don't have someone that I'm trying to, I'm not looking out for what my kid or what my family finances look like in terms of making sure that we're getting an education for all the students. So I can look objectively at all the programs in here. I can look objectively at the special ed programs. I can look objectively at TK. I can look at objectively at the preschool programs and full day kindergarten programs right from the start and figure out if this is what's best for all children. And that's my goal here, is to figure out what's best for all children and to make sure my decisions put those children in first in the district. And I'm still running on this board just to finish some of these projects that I have, because these Prop MM funds that we started way back when I first ran for the board are now coming to fruition. And I believe once we get these projects started, I'll be satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Fitzpatrick.
Hi, yes, I have I have two. I have a second grader and a kindergartner. And then I have a 3.5-year-old who will start kindergarten in 2 years. And I went to Delmar Heights. So I love these schools. I love education. I want to, this is a passion of mine. So I like to do things that give me joy, and helping all the students in my community gives me joy. So that's why I'm running again.
Thank you. Candidate Peck.
I had two children that did come through the Delmar School District, K through 6. They started over at the Heights before there were any schools in Carmel Valley, and then finished up at Carmel Del Mar, and then went on through the high school district. And I've been a teacher for 25 years, and I've seen the classroom side of it, the STEAM side of it. I've served on all sorts of district committees, and I feel like I have an experience that's rather unique, and I have the time. I'm a now retired teacher, and so I have time to listen. I have time for meetings. I have time to ask the questions and follow up. I really, transparency is very important to me. I know through the years that I was a teacher, I would always say, why is this happening? And I'm hoping that I can bring even more transparency to the board, because once people know the reasons, I've learned a lot about the budget tonight from our former board members. And if everybody got that information, I think they would understand a little more, and it would make a compromise a little bit easier.
Thank you. Okay, question number 6. What are your thoughts on TK, transitional kindergarten? And we are starting with candidate Porter, please.
Thank you. It's a great question. If we can fiscally be responsible to implement a TK program, I would be all for it, because I began in early education. I was a preschool teacher at Miramar Naval Air Station, and I see the value of a TK program. As principal in Vista, we had a preschool program that fed into our TK program, that fed into the kindergarten program. So I am all for a TK program as long as we can be fiscally responsible. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Rafner.
I think it'll be difficult to find anybody that is against a TK program. I think we as a board have struggled with the question of TK. I fully support the best practices that have found that starting kindergarten early benefits the child throughout school. The issue is, and Mr. Porter made reference to it, is the fiscal responsibility of implementing that program. Unfortunately, as a basic aid district, the state that requires those types of programs doesn't always provide the funding for the program. So in order to have the program, you may have to sacrifice all the other children in your curriculum, not to mention the facilities that are required for the transitional kindergarten involved. So I support transitional kindergarten, but I also support being fiscally responsible. And I also support maintaining the quality program that we have for all the other kids in the district as well.
Thank you. I have to say, I appreciate the very thoughtful and complete answers we're getting. And now I'm going to change it up with a 30-second answer, which all of you will get to answer this question. And the question is, what are your main focus areas as a potential school board member? Okay, that timer, that will be only 30 seconds. You just have to put the stop sign up for that one. And we are starting with candidate Fitzpatrick, please.
My main focus areas are constructing a new 5-year strategic plan, reinstating transitional kindergarten, listening to special needs parents to make sure that our special education program is the best that it possibly can be, making sure that our dollars are being continually put to good use and that all the plans that we have thought of are actually being implemented, and then continuing to collaborate with all stakeholders.
Thank you. Candidate Peck.
I would like to start with transparency. I want to make sure that all the stakeholders are very sure of the facts before decisions are made, and all the stakeholders are asked and their opinion is listened to. Fiscal responsibility is a huge one, because when we spend our dollars, we need to spend our dollars on things that will benefit students. And there's a fine line sometimes between what the students really need and what they have that they can use already. Our district is phenomenal. Our physical plants are phenomenal. And what I want to make sure that we are fiscally responsible for programs.
Thank you. It's hard for 30 seconds. Candidate Porter.
Thank you. I too agree with Cinda. I want to work on trust, respect, and true collaboration with all stakeholders, especially the teachers, because I don't think currently they feel that they are being heard right now, and that does trouble me. I have a passion for Del Mar. I have a passion for special education, and I also have a passion for early P3 childhood education. And so those would be my focus areas, all under the umbrella of fiscal responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Roybal.
Thank you, Chris. So my priorities are safety and security of all children, transparency, because currently we're not fully posting the budget, nor are we providing board videos. There's a parent that does the videos in order to keep the board accountable. Also, fiscal responsibility. I want to make sure that the money is spent on kids and not lawyers. As an example, we did a public records request. $330,000 was spent in purchase orders in March on lawyers, and another $200,000 in purchase orders in June on lawyers as well. We need to restructure the special education department. I made public comment about this in the last board meeting. Also, I support TK, and I want to permanently budget STEAM Plus teachers.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate Wooden.
So maintaining our financial stability in the district with a strong reserve, maintaining our small class sizes, STEAM Plus and world language programs, putting together our strategic plan, making sure every student has an equal opportunity to succeed and has equal opportunity for resources to reach their full academic potential in the district. Make sure that we are listening to the parents, and the parents have control of their kids' education. Building the relationships within the district, not only between the parents and the staff, but the teachers as well. Safety within our schools, emotional health and well-being, which has been lost during this COVID epidemic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back to 1-minute answers now. This is
Wait. Hi, that's twice.
Everyone has a chance to answer this question. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah,
I haven't gone either.
I don't know what it is about your name, sir. I apologize.
That's
Go.
okay. No
20
problem.
seconds.
Well, I was just going to say that the best thing about going last is that I can say I agree with what everybody has said. And in fact, I do. Well, one of the constraints that any board of this type has is truly the Brown Act, that really, while it's meant to open school board meetings, it tends to condense it by limiting the amount of time. Going forward, I'd like to see more workshops where you can actually sit down and have conversations with the community. I'd like to open that up to teachers, because I have found that not only the teachers have important things to say, but also the teachers have things to say that are important, and I'd like to take those into consideration. Thank you for remembering me.
I don't know what it is. Okay,
Chris,
question number.
do I have an opportunity as well for this question?
Yes. Of
Okay.
course.
Sorry.
I think I must be, it's the ADHD in me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So my priorities are to de-incentivize litigation against the families. Currently, our tax dollars are used to retain attorneys that escalate the issues that harm families and our students. A solution I have is hiring in-house salaried attorneys who do not profit from advising the district to act in ways to increase billable hours. Other school districts like Poway and San Diego Unified already do this. So this puts money back into our school district, provide transparency with the budget, and that, like was mentioned, that we can have an area where that's public that we can all go through. Create town hall meetings to understand what the issues are, what we are facing as a community. Create an environment where teachers have control over the curriculum and ability to get back to real teaching.
Thank you. Did I miss anyone else?
Thanks.
Okay. Here we go. 1 minute question. Do you believe engagement with administrators, teachers, students, and community members is important? If so, what concrete actions would you consider taking to reach out to and engage with stakeholders? Okay, and this one we start with Mr. Candidate Porter, please.
I definitely agree that we need to hear all sides of all stakeholders' opinions and beliefs. And we can do that by holding, I heard it earlier, by holding community forums, holding site-based meetings with stakeholders at each school, and coming up with some common ideas and common beliefs that we can then take and move forward with the district. But trust, respect, and collaborations should be the lens in which we look through all of the issues and tasks that the Board of Trustees will be responsible for. My doctorate is in the role of leadership in developing and sustaining collective efficacy within a professional learning community. So teachers need to feel efficacious about the role and the job and responsibilities that they have. And that is our responsibility as leaders to make sure that they feel efficacious about what they do. And that's how we treat them, with trust, respect, and collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Rafner.
As I said, I think workshops have a huge role in creating trust and openness and transparency on the board. We've had a number of those workshops for certain specific issues, and I think they've worked really well. I'd like to see more of those in the future. I think the board that I'm currently on has taken steps to try and do that more often. Unfortunately, it doesn't really lend itself for every single issue. I believe that perhaps questions from the community onto a bulletin board might be of assistance and also to have a forum for the teachers to present their concerns as well would serve the district well.
Thank you. Candidate Roybal.
Thank you. I think it's important that we listen to the public because the public will tell us what we need to do. And we have a fiduciary duty to represent them on the board. And for example, public has been making comment throughout the year and the current, we need to make sure that we're doing a better job of listening. In addition to that, I think when there's surveys, the surveys come out, we also need to implement change based on the survey. A 2019 low teacher morale survey came out, but not much was done on it. And there was also another survey of the special education department that came out earlier in the year, and not much was done with it either. So I think we're already getting the input. We're just not doing anything with it. I also support town halls, parent advocates to be assigned to help with parents and teachers. And also I would like Zoom with community participation so that we have more active dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Wooden, please.
So I'm always willing to meet with any constituent that asks me to meet with them. I think Doug Rafner talked about workshops. They are a great way that we can get the feedback. Meetings are not the way to, our regular board meetings are not equipped to have a dialogue. School sites visits, community forums, professional surveys. I actually asked for a real professional survey. I know there was a mention about the special ed survey. That was not a very good one. When you ask questions about, have you heard of anything? Have you seen or heard of, say, conspiracy theory XYZ, you get a lot of, yes, I've heard, but nothing, any specifics. We have talked about that. We have addressed the concerns that were brought forward by the union on the special education, and they have all been addressed. The leadership, special education staff, and the leadership are continuously looking at how to work together to make DMUSD the best place for our students and staff. And the union is satisfied and appreciates how everybody is working together at this time. A lot of the issues that we've seen have been COVID-related issues where we haven't had a chance to communicate with each other and meet in person. I guess I have to stop.
Thank you. Question number 9. As a board member, what steps would you take to create an environment in which staff can express an opinion without fear of retaliation? And that is starting with Candidate Peck.
That's an excellent question. And actually, I didn't get to respond to the last one, but I'm going to incorporate it into this. I think we need to come up with a less formal way to dialogue with everyone, not just specific people at schools or the same people every time. We need to, anyone who has something to say needs to feel comfortable saying it. And that's all about the trust and respect. It's in past practices and it's in how we handle it in the future. But you're absolutely right. It's freedom of speech. You have to be able to say what you think without repercussions, or nobody will speak up. And I know that is possibly part of the teacher morale and probably the frustration that some of the parents have. They need to be able to speak up and still realize that their child will get the best care they can possibly get. And the less formal way to dialogue would be better. And we need maybe an anonymous survey. So in the past, our surveys have not felt very anonymous. So if we could create anonymous surveys, I think that would help.
Thank you. And finally, Candidate Sheikhani.
All right, thank you. This is a very good question, and because I am, as a parent, not as a teacher, I have had this fear of retaliation. I think I've said it in every board meeting that I've ever gone to, that I start with that. I do fear retaliation for speaking up and advocating for my child, so I am intimately aware of that fear. I think removing this opportunity for the district to make decisions for the teachers is where I think we can have some improvement. Creating, like somebody mentioned, workshops before. I think having workshops for teachers to be able to collaborate together, to have maybe even like a leadership of teachers that are able to collaborate explain what their issues are and present them collaboratively, I think is a great way to go about that. And really just working with teachers. I don't understand why there needs to be this fear, because it's so valuable. We rely on our teachers to lead our programs, to help shape our children's education, and we really need to trust in what their opinions are. They are the champions here. And also involving parents as well, and allowing them to have a conversation and a seat at the decision table.
Thank you. I'm looking at my time now, and I'm going to make the next question the one I promised at the beginning. There may have been questions tonight that you did not get to answer, as Candidate Peck just said. I would like to give you an opportunity now in a regular 1-minute format to answer, speak to one of the questions that you did not get to answer. And we will start with Candidate Wooden.
You're muted.
Sorry, I thought I clicked it. I'm going to answer the questions about the declining enrollment and the TK, because they kind of go hand in hand together. By being a basic aid or community funded district, we're not funded on ADA, we're funded by property taxes. So as the enrollment goes down, actually we have more funds available to do things. And as enrollment goes down, we actually have more facility space in order to bring a whole new grade level as a TK would require. So those are the things that they kind of go hand in hand, because we do not get any money from the state for TK. If we were to, as Mr. Rafner had said earlier, anything we do would have to come from the expense of our current funds. We can't take it out of the reserves, because once you've spent your reserves, you're done. You don't have any more money. So you can't continue the program if you spend down your reserves. The reserves are for a rainy day fund, rainy day. But let's look at how we can bring TK, because everybody thinks that early childhood education is important. And with the declining enrollment, we should be able to pull those together. And I just wanted to end is that we actually have a very robust program. Our kids come out of the district with every opportunity to succeed in middle school, high school, and beyond. Our kids come out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate Sheikhani.
Thank you. I wanted to answer the question regarding concrete actions and how to involve stakeholders. So one thing that I would like to do that is a little different than what we've been having conversations about is leveraging social media. Being able to have an environment where we can, as board members, really discuss the issues that are happening on a social forum. Being able to have the community be able to respond in that way would be great. Having quarterly town hall meetings, maybe a suggestion type box for anonymous suggestions. Zoom accessibility will increase the involvement in our community. None of our board meetings are currently over Zoom. Having parent liaisons and third-party oversight over our special education department would also really help. I think it's really important to involve our community in every single decision that's being made, and because those decisions are the ones who are affecting our stakeholders. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Roybal.
Right, thank you. I want to address a couple of questions. I want to address enrollment, and I want to address the budget via the special ed department. So as far as enrollment is concerned, we have steadily declined from 2017-2018 school year. We had 4,414 students to now last year we had 3,853. At the last board meeting, or was it 2 board meetings ago, Trustee Fitzpatrick pointed out that enrollment numbers did not seem accurate because they included early childhood development, which is a pay structure. It's not a public. You're paying the teachers for that. So, and the enrollment was around 3,700 presented for that. So I just want to point out that the enrollment numbers are not completely accurate. Also, as far as the budget and restructuring the special ed department, if we were to follow free, appropriate public education, which we're not doing right now, you're going to save millions, at least 1 million from last year, because we're not doing it right. It's artificially creating lawsuits. It's not the right thing to do for the community. Children are suffering. There's a myriad of problems with this. We need to fix it.
Thank you. Candidate Rafner.
I didn't get to answer the question about why I want to be on the board and whether I have kids on the board. I remember coming to the school board meetings with my kids in cleats after their soccer practice, and all of my kids have gone through the district. In fact, I ran for the board without any predisposed feeling that I would ever sit on a school board. And I ran for the board because I care about the community, just as every one of the parents, with or without kids in this community, should be caring about our school district, because the school district is really the hub of a wheel in the community. It is what makes our community valuable. I also wanted to say that in terms of the fiscal responsibility and the fact that we are a basic aid district, people pay a lot of tax money to have a good product. I am the chairperson for the North City West Facility Financing Board, and I was able to get cost overruns from people's Mello-Roos taxes brought back to our district in large amounts of money. So while the Mello-Roos monies have all been spent to build the schools, I have worked tirelessly to make sure that some of those funds have come back to the district.
Thank you. Candidate Porter.
Thank you. I think it was question 8 about the informal feedback process. Could you repeat that question for me?
Yes, sir. Do you believe engagement with administrators, teachers, students, community members, is that the one?
Yes, thank you.
Is important? If so, what concrete actions would you take to reach out?
Feedback, positive and negative, is important for any organization's health and sustainability. And so one of the things we did in Vista is that we brought in a third party, UCSD research, and they created a survey for classified employees to answer, certificated employees to answer, certificated management to answer, site administrators to answer, and the district office personnel. And that feedback was 100% anonymous, and the UCSD researchers created a global summary of the district's health in terms of feedback, both positive and negative. And then each school principal received their results. It's all anonymous, no names are used, so that can be used for the district in terms of the 5-year strategic planning process, but also for each site administrator to create their site goals for the year when they write their site plan. Thank you.
Thank you. And Candidate Peck.
Thank you. The question I wanted to go back to was about the demographics of our district and how the enrollment is going down, because I'm curious to know the details of why we are declining. Is it that people are going to public or private schools, or they're moving away, or our communities are just growing up? I mean, all those things are what's going to help make fiscally responsible decisions about, numbers of schools and numbers of teachers and things like that, the expensive things that are part of our district. So if we felt that people were just going to private school because it was COVID, but they'd come back, we'd make a different decision. So I think it's important that we know why our demographics have changed.
Thank you. And Candidate Fitzpatrick.
Okay, I love the idea of, I've been a big proponent of a third-party survey to get a pulse of how our staff is feeling. I also think it's important, I've been wanting for a long time now for committees, like a special education committee that includes teachers, that includes parents, and students. I think students have a voice in all of this. I also would love to have an early childhood education committee. So I think that that's a way that we can get information and have it be synthesized in a collaborative, safe environment. And then we can take that information and actually put it into actionable steps that can transform our district and make it be the best district around.
Thank you. Did I get everyone? Okay, good. We're getting ready for closing comments now. And while you think about your closing comments, I have a couple of announcements I need to make. I have some reminders about voting. Election day is November 8th. I know you're all registered to vote, but if you know someone who is not registered, encourage them to vote by completing a day of registration at any vote center up to and including election day and filing a provisional ballot. After all, democracy is a participation sport. You can find information about upcoming forums, the pros and cons of the propositions, and other helpful information at the League's site, which is lwvncsd.org, and online at votersedge.org. I would also like to personally thank the candidates for their patience with me tonight. And believe me, there was no bias. I'm an equal opportunity forgetter. So I apologize for that. On to the closing comments by the candidates. They have 2 minutes to share their final thoughts with you. And earlier we drew for positions, and we will start with Mr. Porter, candidate Porter.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to thank you for attending tonight's important candidate forum for the Del Mar Union School Board. Also like to thank the League of Women Voters and the North County Coastal PTA Association for their support and organization regarding tonight. When elected, I believe I can begin to restore the values of trust, respect, and collaboration, true collaboration with all stakeholders. I am the only candidate who has been both a teacher in the trenches as well as a site administrator. Therefore, I have a complete understanding from sitting at both sides of the table. I also have experience in negotiations as a union representative in Del Mar, where I was president, vice president, and treasurer. I also believe my professional and personal experiences will provide me with the necessary tools to be an effective and efficient board member. As a board member, I will support any initiative, curriculum, or program implementation as long as the decisions for these initiatives, curriculum, or program implementations have been collectively agreed upon by the stakeholder groups who have been tasked to decide the decision. With that said, the decisions need to be research-based with a proven track record of enhancing student engagement and achievement while being fiscally responsible. I would appreciate your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Sheikhani.
Okay, hi there. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm grateful for all the informed questions here tonight. We as a community really need to be able to ask these questions and get answers that elevate all of us, especially our children. My heart is heavy. I've been told too many stories of unhappy families, families moving away from this school district from reasons varying from education services that are not being provided from their children, litigation from the school district against families, the curriculum not being suitable for their children, whether it's their children are excelling or their children are struggling, they're moving to private schools, or just not being heard by the district, and even silenced. I mean, this is not the environment we need for our children to grow in. It's one of the reasons we have declining enrollment that's really not talked about. I've heard from DMUSD teachers, speech therapists, school psychologists, aides, PE teachers, and even program directors that all want a change and fear retaliation. This is our own staff that is telling this story. I want to change this. I want to be able to collaborate and get everyone involved in this conversation and create an environment for growth. I'm running for one reason. Our children are the future, and we really need to create opportunities for them to be the best that they can be right now, because time is of essence. Our school district is K through 6th grade, which is the most important and valuable learning years for our kids. This is the time to really provide all we can for them to succeed. We need to work together to achieve this. I'm hopeful it will happen. And as a board member, I will work hard to listen, create an environment of collaboration and not fear. And I hope to earn your vote. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Candidate Roybal.
I believe in complete transparency and I believe in being completely honest. I just don't know how to do things otherwise. That's at the core of who I am. So I'm going to share what happened earlier this year. I've been attending school board meetings since I went up against due process against the district in August of last year. And in the process, I've learned a lot. I've learned that there's quite a few things that are not functioning the way that they should. And in February, the district was going to lay off 7 different positions. And the public spoke and those positions were retained. So there is power in the public's voice. There is power in the public's vote. And what I'm going to ask tonight is that you vote. It doesn't matter to me whom you vote for, but I want you to use your voice. Use your voice because that shows our children that we're doing the right thing. And I'm sorry that I get choked up because I didn't want to run for school board. We escalated concerns all the way up to Tony Thurmond. And Tony Thurmond, for those of you that don't know, is the superintendent of all California schools. And in some instances, we were turned away or redirected, and we were told, it's the school board that's in charge of taking care of your concern. Well, what do you do when you can't make change on the school board? You run. And that's why I'm running. I'm running because all kids matter, regardless of their background, their religion, their beliefs, their everything, and their educational aspirations, and what they have access to or don't have access to. And that's why I want them to have access to the best. And also, I submitted a CDE complaint on behalf of the teachers to the California Department of Education. And because I had been in the media trying to fix what I found out, they escalated my concerns. And they advised me that it's an internal uniform complaint through the teachers, and that the superintendent and the head of HR will be in charge of researching. My concern is this: it's being pushed under the rug. So make sure you vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate Fitzpatrick.
Well, I just want to thank you again, League of Women Voters and North Coastal PTA, for hosting us this evening, and everyone who's in attendance tonight. And I just want to reiterate that I am from this community. I'm raising 3 children here. I'm a teacher. I'm a school counselor. I have a passion for education that extends beyond just my profession and my children, but out into this community and to our schools. And I want to make sure that everything that we do in our schools, whether it be special education or STEAM Plus or general education, to providing safe learning environments, to providing social and emotional curriculum that meets the needs of the whole child, is the best. And that includes our facilities as well. So I want to continue serving on the board so I can see things brought to fruition that haven't yet come about, and also to continue striving to progress and to grow as our society grows educationally, as we come up with new and improved ways of delivering educational services. I want to ensure that Del Mar is keeping ahead of the game in everything that we can be doing. And so that's why I would really appreciate your vote so I can continue serving our community and our children.
Thank you. Candidate Peck.
I'd also like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. I've learned a lot myself, so I know everyone listening has probably learned as well. Thank all of you for joining us so that you have had a chance to meet us and hopefully know us a little bit better. When I got my master's in leadership, I learned that as an administrator, which would include the school board, that our job was to serve the students, serve the teachers, serve the community, doing the best job we can do with all of their input. And I do believe that that's what I could bring to the board. I think the way we are going to earn the trust of all of our stakeholders is through our collaboration. And that means we have to be transparent with facts and with respect for other people's opinions. I am looking at the looming social issues, and I believe that requires experts in our schools, counselors that can handle some of the things that our young people are going to be facing in social issues in the near future. And that should be available at every school for our students and for our families and for our parents. But above all, fiscal responsibility is what's important. And the money that we spend should go directly to opportunities and programs for our students and the requirements to support those programs so that we are training well-rounded people that can lead our country in the future. We have to look ahead. We can't just look at tomorrow. And our rich programs are going to be inclusive of all students so that all students will have a role to play in our future. So I would appreciate a vote. I would appreciate the opportunity to serve the community of Del Mar. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Rafner.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody that helped put this forum on, and thank you to the community for spending the time to listen and learn. As I said, I've listened or I've lived in this community since 2002. When I first came on the board, I learned very quickly that in the neighborhood grocery store, I would buy my frozen foods last, because if you buy your frozen food first, it's going to melt by the time you get to the checkout stand, because parents inevitably will come and speak with you. And I certainly welcome each and every parent that I ever met in those grocery store lines, and would welcome those discussions. I agree that fiscal responsibility is key to the district working well. Our board has, over the time that I've been on this board, consistently had a balanced budget through thick and through thin. We've had a balanced budget through the deep recession. We had a balanced budget through COVID. And I anticipate keeping an eye on the fiscal responsibility in the future. Trust, respect, transparency has always been at the forefront of what I believe in. I'll continue to do that, and I'll try and focus on more workshops or other ways of collaborating with the public, the community, and the teachers as well. I've always been a fan of the teachers and supported everything that they've done. As a mediator, I've brought and have upheld a firm belief that the win-win type of negotiation that our district has strived to put into place has served the district well. And to a teacher, those discussions and negotiations have ended in almost a complete 100% approval of whatever we've been negotiating with them. It's been my great honor to serve on the board for the last 12 years. I would certainly appreciate another 4 years and would appreciate your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And candidate Wooden.
Again, I'd like to thank the organizers for hosting this forum. I have been honored to serve on this board, and I look forward to earning your votes so I can work to complete the projects that we have started in this fantastic district. This is what you'll get from me if elected. Looking out for what's best for all students, an advocate for a high quality public education, our STEAM Plus program, world language immersion programs, and small class sizes, providing world-class professional learning for the staff, a culture of thinking for both students and staff, prioritizing students' social and emotional well-being, flexible learning environments and schools which are built and modernized for our students' needs, good teacher morale with a staff that loves teaching here and continued very low teaching turnover, fiscal solvency with a balanced budget, strong reserves, and the highest credit rating in the state. I'll continue to listen on ways to improve the district, and I will meet with anyone who wants to meet with me. And finally, I want to put parents parents in charge of their child's education, to keep us a district where parents are proud to send their students to our schools, and students are excited to come here and learn so they may become everything that they can be and when they leave our district. If you're wanting accountability and transparency in our district, I am the only candidate endorsed by Reform California, an independent group vetting candidates. They looked at every race in the county and determined who would work to improve school boards, respect the input from parents, keep our children happy, healthy, and safe, and improve the overall quality of education. I was the only candidate to earn that endorsement, an unsolicited endorsement in Del Mar. And you can see the endorsements for all their candidates at electionguidecalifornia.org. That's the electionguidecalifornia.org. Thank you. And again, I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
In concluding tonight's forum, I'd first like to thank the behind the scenes people at League of Women Voters who sorted the questions and who are timing and who are administrating this forum tonight. I want to thank the community of Del Mar for such good questions and the candidates for their very good answers and their passion and their knowledge. And I want to thank and commend the candidates for their courage and willingness to run for public office. You guys are making democracy work. Thank you very much. Thank you all and have a good night.